Welcome to the I'm Healing podcast. I'm your host and healer, Iris L. Mendez of ILM Healing Solutions. Here we will discuss all healing solutions for the soul. Let's heal. Right now, my name is Iris. Welcome to the Healing Solutions space. This is a Facebook group, and this is a Healing Solutions segment. We're doing this every Monday in August. And these lives, if you happen to catch this on a replay, let us know in the comments that you caught it on a replay, whether you caught this on a replay on YouTube, because I will likely be uploading this into my YouTube channel. And then any of the audio will also be going to my podcast, the I'm Healing podcast. So make sure that you tune in. And I'm really excited because we have Tanya today, and the topic of discussion for today is going to be healing through relationships and navigating co-parenting. So if you are watching this live, make sure you let us know that you're watching live. Just some quick things before I let Tanya take over. You see me rocking the self-love shirts if you are actually watching this. Make sure that you get yourself hoodie season's coming, right? Sweatshirt season. So this is self-love. We have these going on sale now. So make sure that you check out my bonfire apparel link, and that is posted in this group and also on my link tree. And Yoga for Chakra Healing. I am doing Yoga for Chakra Healing. You get 8 classes, they're pre-recorded. Each of the classes gives you a little bit of insight of each of the yoga chakra, of what are the yoga chakras and how they're all connected, and how to help balance your life through physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual healing with the yoga chakra system. Well, with yoga and the chakra system. And I am taking on new coaching clients. So if anybody's interested in any of that, I did want to put that out there because my schedule is going to be changing in the fall because I'm going to be teaching. So I do have the coaching packages available if you are interested in working one-on-one with me. So today's topic I'm really excited about because we talk about healing all the time, and we talk about relationships, but we never really talk about them together. And as somebody who's personally experienced more than one heartache than I'd like to, there is a healing, there's a process that goes along with that. So Tanya, tell people, who you are, what you do, and then talk about what prompted you to even want to share this topic or talk about this topic.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya. I guess my professional background, I'm a social worker. I've been a social worker for about 10 years, and most of that is with school and education. I also did child play therapy, so I have background with therapy and understanding mental health. So that's where how I walk through life. Most recently, I really have given into spiritual practice and just really embraced it and learning about it and wanting to grow in that. And this is coming from a hardcore atheist like 10 years ago, right? And so there's been a lot of growth in that way as well. And reason why I wanted to share this topic, when you mentioned, and first of all, thank you for this space, Iris. Thank you for I appreciate your posts and your page. I don't always interact with it as much as I would like to, but you post beautiful things, great things, funny things. And so I really like being a part of the space, and then understanding just what has helped me, in the past 4 years. And I love to share that with others. If it could help me, it might help someone else as well.
Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Having started this group at the brink of a pandemic, I didn't know what it would turn into, but I always, I'm just in appreciation whenever I hear that type of feedback of being able to have held space or create certain spaces for people in this group. So thank you. Definitely keep inviting women to this group. Keep sharing all my links, and more importantly, for you, keep using your voice, because I feel like when we're able to share parts of ourselves with people, especially things that we may have gone through in the past that might have been maybe hurtful or harmful to us, or triggering for us when we're able to talk about them more in open spaces and kind of be in a space of not necessarily breaking down and crying when you talk about it, then that just shows you heal just a little bit more. Or maybe you are, I don't know if you can necessarily be fully healed from something, but maybe you are at the capacity of that healing journey for whatever that thing is that you're healing from. So with you specifically, we're talking about navigating relationships, navigating co-parenting. I always think about healing from a breakup, just like we talk about healing from grief. You're social worker, right? So I'm sure you know 5 stages of grief. And I always put that in quotes because they're stages, but you don't go in them in any linear way.
Not doing that at all.
And you know,
They come back.
right, there's anger, there's depression, there's what is it? Bargaining, you know, there's
Denial. I love denial. Right. I'm really good there.
There's so, but you can always, and then there's acceptance, right? So you can be in 1 minute be in denial, and then the next minute be in acceptance, and the next day be depressed. So it's like grieving a mourning someone who we've lost, whether they're still on this plane of existence or not, is still a process. Yeah. So we grieve people, and then it's like a double, I always say like it's a double grief when you are, maybe even triple, when it's like chronic grief when you are on a breakup, because you mourn the person, you mourn maybe family members from that person that you have to no longer be a part of. You also mourn maybe friendships, that you have mutual friends, so that it gets awkward with friends because they can't figure out who to invite who where. So you mourn those relationships, and then you mourn like the idea of what the relationship was supposed to be, right? Yeah. And then if there's kids involved, you know, you as a person who has been, she has her son in the background, if there's kids involved, then for me, being someone who hasn't had her own kids, but been in relationship with men who have, and then felt that loss, that grief is like no other. So it's like, I can't imagine, like for me, I've never been through the process of being with someone, having a child with them, and then trying to figure out, okay, we have a child, but we're not together. How do we navigate that? So like, how did you get through it, or what advice would you give, or just let us know about your journey?
Sure. Honestly, initially, it was extremely difficult. And I'm at a really good place now. I mean, we've been broken up for 4 years at this point. And, I'm in a great space but it did take about that time to get here. Right. And so I think what helped me, and I say this with like an asterisk here, right? Because you don't have to know anything about mental health or be a believer of mental health or have a background there. But because I practice mental health and I really understand its value and how it heals, the way, a doctor can heal a bone, I went to therapy immediately. I'm so the way I worked with it, and that's why I kind of laughed at denial, is it's like, okay, I had a breakup, so I know I need to heal, and all right, let's go therapist, let's get this over with, let's go. And I also knew at least a year. So I remember sitting in her chair and being like, okay, a year from now, I'm going to be fine. So let's go through the motions. Let's do what we got to do. And, excuse me, something in my throat. It wasn't until like 6 months into that process, when you mentioned the process of grief, I remember just describing to my therapist how like I lost interest in everything. Oh, sorry. Okay, something popped up. That I wasn't interested in anything. I was home all the time. Anyone who knows Harry Potter and how thick the books are, I read the series in one summer because I just wasn't going anywhere outside of just caring for my son. But at the time I was living with my parents, and I remember explaining this to my therapist, and she's like, "You mean you're depressed?" And I'm like in my head, I'm like, wait a minute, like that's not me, because I'm a very driven person. I'm a go-getter. I'm very optimistic most of the time. So, but
she was a great therapist, and she knew to introduce that idea. She saw it coming, right? Like she knew exactly what I was experiencing, but she was then 6 months into my process was able to explain the that I was experiencing grief, and these were the things that were happening to me. And that was really eye-opening, and understanding it as grief was really a pivotal moment, because I was able to understand, like, so this is something I'm working through and I will overcome eventually. And that's not to say, I do want to be very careful there, because I've never experienced grief in that, like, someone has passed away that I love, and I cannot compare that, and I won't do that. But in my case, I saw it as like, okay, then these are stages, and acceptance will be there and I will be okay. And that helped me kind of shift gears a little bit to pour into myself, to like really dive into self-help work, self-development work, and just being extremely intentional on my mental health and development and healing through what it is to, you know, have someone you love so much and not be with them anymore.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think it's important to understand, one, you identified something wasn't right, something was not, I don't want to say right, something was off, and you got the help that you needed for it, which a lot of people don't do right away, or they prolong it. And just, you know, whoever was your therapist, they did a good job at like being able to normalize, like, hey, yeah, you're depressed, or this is a grief process, this is a part of the process. And so for anybody watching, listening, just, you know, allow that to sit with you if you are struggling. Understand that therapy doesn't have to be something that's long term. It doesn't have to be, or even just getting support from whatever professional. It doesn't have to be something that is permanent. And like you said, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, if you will, right? Like, you know, that things are, this is something you go through, you get better. You're gonna get better. So as far as some of the other alternative healing, like modalities that you use, psychotherapy sounds like one of them. You started to tap into your own self-care routine. Like, what did that look like? What healing modalities would you share for moms like yourself who might not have the time for it? You know, how do you squeeze that in?
You know, I think I definitely, I guess I want to say rely, but rely has a negative connotation, but it's true. At the beginning, I was just looking forward to my weekly appointment to therapy so much. One of the catalysts of going to therapy, outside of understanding my breakup or healing through it, I was having such bad anxiety pains that I thought I was having heart issues. And this was as a result of the relationship and the breakup. And when I went to the cardiologist, my heart was completely fine. My blood work was fine. So it was high levels of anxiety. So when I went to my doctor about it, they recommended over-the-counter medication, Xanax or something like that. And I denied it. I said, I don't, an antidepressant, like I'm like, I don't want to go that route. Let me try something holistic. So of course I did therapy, and then I was just, I really amped up my working out, being intentional about exercise, because what we know about exercise, it increases endorphins. It, you know, being intentional about my sleeping pattern, knowing, you know, and just seeing my natural rhythm, being very observant of my natural rhythm with my circadian rhythm. What does sleep look like? Making sure I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And I know that it's the American culture to put, you know, I will sleep when I'm dead. And it sounds so really ridiculous. And it's such a common way to most people think, but that's detrimental to your health. It increases stress and anxiety, obesity, crankiness. I think, you know, we're so used, myself included, I was used to having 4 glasses of coffee, not like little, like huge mugs of coffee a day just to keep it going, not realizing I was avoiding how I was actually feeling, because I was just like on the go. So just really being intentional about my body, how it feels, my natural rhythm. So I increased exercise, I increased sleep, making sure I had a really good sleeping pattern. I really went into essential oils. You know, I think at the time I had just discovered them, and I was like, wow, I don't need this over-the-counter medication or prescription medication. I was able to learn to inhale and take deep breaths and just use the holistic options. And that really helped. And then just being patient, being and giving myself grace. Because a part of that, knowing that healing was coming, I'm like, I'm sorry, don't open the window. Knowing that healing was coming, I'm like, all right, let's get it over. I want to be healed. I want to be healed now. And it doesn't work that way. It's a process. And so I had to be really patient with myself and really be compassionate with myself and understand that this too shall pass. But when I need to cry, let me cry. When I am frustrated, let me be frustrated. When I'm sad, let me be sad. Not to beat myself up when I have, days where the only thing I can do is get dressed and kind of walk like a zombie, because I would be really hard on myself about that. But once I learned that this is just part of the healing process, part of humanity, and then of course, and I know you understand this, self-love practice was really big for me. And what does that mean? Self-love practice doesn't mean like getting manis and petties. It certainly doesn't mean going out and getting drunk and partying. For me, it was, where can I honor who I am and respect who myself is, all of me, and what, how can I love myself the way I would love someone else in my life, right? You want to sit in my lap, love? And because, if the way I love him, the way I love my mother, how would I treat them, and making sure I treated myself similarly, if not the same. And I've just recently become really good at that now, practicing it for 4 years, but I wasn't, it's hard, and I don't always do it either. So those are the things that I really embraced to go through healing. And then just being intentional with all of it, knowing this, my goal is to feel my best self, and just being intentional every day, even when I didn't feel like it. And when I didn't feel like it, embracing grace, embracing compassion, knowing I'm going to get back to it again. I hope that addressed your question.
That's it. No, thank you for that. Those are, I like to call it like a self-care or self-love toolkit, but in that you have things that are also self-maintenancing, such as mani, petties, hair done.
Right.
But you have your self-care toolkit with, psychotherapy, with going to the gym, with essential oils. And I always tell people, you have to lead with your self-care as if, one, it's ever evolving, because it's always going to change with it. As you change, your interests change. But then two, it has to be it can't be a carry-on bag on a Spirit flight. It has to be a whole maleta, or huge luggage. Her mom called maleta huge luggage with all the wheels. I'm talking about the huge ones, the
yeah. You have to pay extra for.
Yes, and that you have to pay extra to get that thing on a flight. And Spirit might not even take you. That's how big your self-care toolkit has to be. And I always think about it from I used to watch Barney growing up. So I'm looking at my Barney bag. And he's like, gizmos and gadgets. That's your self-care toolkit. It's essential oils, bath, go outside and ground my feet in the grass.
That's right. That's right.
It has to be that, I don't know how else to call it, but first of all, it has to be that eclectic, and then it also has to be that real and something that you honor. So I love that you have all these different things. I do want to ask a question, because I heard today is National Book Day or something like that. What book helped you, or what books are in your toolkit?
In my toolkit, there's a lot. Classics for me are Siddhartha and The Alchemist. I could always read that over and over again. But and I did read that during this. I've read them before, and I reread them during this time. And then another one is I didn't read Girl Wash Your Face. It's the same author, but she wrote something else, and I'm sorry, I'm really forgetting it right now. But it really just helped me. Or I think, Stop Apologizing. That's what it is. And it's just learning to own who you are and be who you are and stop apologizing. And women apologize constantly. And so, as simple as that, I've learned to if I didn't reply to an email on time, I don't say I'm sorry. I say thank you for your patience, or and it's just really learning. Really learn. I have to be present. Really learning about like who I am and just being unapologetic, right? Another one is Brene Brown's The Gifts of Imperfection. Fantastic. That really helped just embrace the power of imperfection. And really, imperfection is not imperfect. It's who you're supposed to be. So those are some of the books that really helped. And I mean, I listen to so much. I listen to like, and that's the thing, I saturate my ears with positive things. So I'm listening to Super Soul Conversations. I'm listening to Joel Osteen. I'm listening to Abraham Hicks, if you're into like law of attraction. I'm listening to like so many positive, and to this day, like, because I see the benefits it has, and I can't deny that it's helped in my evolution and health and healing. So yeah, there's a lot of resources I use to just kind of focus.
That's awesome. If you don't mind coming back into the group, maybe typing in some of those. I know some of them, Brene Brown, I'm always down for. I've been a huge fan of her. So if anybody, you never heard of Brene Brown, look her up. She's got a podcast.
She has a great Netflix show, maybe documentary. It's like a TED Talk, but it's on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix?
It's called Call to Courage. A Call to Courage.
Okay.
It is so good. So good.
I love all of her books. I've actually seen her talk live at one of the Pennsylvania women's conferences for women. So it was really awesome.
She's wonderful.
Rachel Hollis is another one that you mentioned.
Yes. I follow her on Instagram.
Girl Wash Your Face, and then Girl Stop Apologizing.
Mm-hmm.
And
then Gabrielle Bernstein, I can't forget her. I listen to her. The Universe Has Your Back, and there's another one I read of hers. I dive into self-development books.
And who was it that you mentioned for the Law of Attraction? What was his name?
Oh, so it's funny. The name is Abraham Hicks, but it's a woman. Okay. I said him right away too. But it's
her. Then my bad.
No, that's okay. Yeah, and it's a little woo-woo, but I think I can say this in this space. It's a woman. Her name is Esther Hicks, and she taps into her higher self that we all have. And in that tapping into her higher self, she receives feelings that she interprets through our language and understand of like what the higher universe is telling us to do. And it just talks all about the law of attraction. So if you can get your head around that, or at least accept that like it might be a little out of this world, what she says is just so spot on. And it's not, to me, it's all about love. It's all about acceptance. It's all about embracing who you are, your full self. So I'm like, this is good. It's great content. She's not saying anything that's scary.
Yeah.
I love it. It's all about law of attraction. And as a result, I've been like listening to her. I've been meditating now for about 4 months straight daily. Sometimes I'll miss a day or two, but I'm very intentional about doing it at least 15 to 20 minutes a day. And it's changed. Like I can honestly say I live a very joyful life, and I believe it's because of meditation.
Yeah, I was just reading an article about meditation. Well, it wasn't an article, it was somebody's post on meditation. And I think it's from a book that talks about the African American roots in meditation, and how we are not told to meditate, but we should, and how even the root word medi, M-E-D-I, is the same root word in medication, right? And how medi, M-E-D-I, means to heal.
Okay.
But like we only know medication, we only know medical, we don't know meditate. I'm gonna need y'all to meditate, and heal. Like it's in the word.
That's right.
So,
it's extremely healing. Iris even knows, like, my meditation time is my sacred time, and it gets done every day.
Mom, were you almost done with this?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so I want to wrap this up. We did have Sharice who was watching. She said that she didn't have children, but this information was informative. So thank you, Sharice, for watching. Thank you, anybody who has tuned in, who will catch this on the replay. Let us know that you caught it on the replay by either commenting or dropping emojis, GIFs, whatever. And I have one last question for you. Define healing in 4 words or less. What does healing mean to you?
Follow the joy. You know, and that doesn't always mean that you're going to feel bliss all the time, every moment, but in every decision you have, there's a decision that's going to make you feel less or worse, right? Like you're going to feel better making one decision or one side of the decision, and you'll feel worse on the other side of the decision. Following the joy means making the choice that makes you feel slightly better, even if that means you're frustrated instead of enraged, even if that means you are neutral instead of sad. Like, you know, it doesn't mean that you're, you know, rainbows and butterflies every day. It just means make the slightly better choice. So follow the joy. And in that, that just sets up the momentum to live in greatness. Because it's an incremental, when you follow the joy, it's an incremental change to positive.
I love that. Follow the joy. That should be on a shirt. So
Yes.
tell us where we can find you. You have a beautiful IG page that you said you're not really on, but I'm going to
I
try
know.
to
I'm
be
like
on it because it's so beautiful.
I do. I mean, honestly, yeah. So you_on_love is my Instagram page, but I don't post much. I should go back on it. And you know, and if you want to come back to it again, I do want to just mention about like that co-parenting piece that so many may relate to, and maybe that's why they will tune in. It's the intentionality about forgiveness and understanding that forgiveness is for yourself and not for the other person. You know, when you embrace forgiveness fully, forgiving yourself for all your personal mistakes that you may have some hangups on, and extending that forgiveness, like when you see the humanity in yourself and everything that you regret or are upset about or wish you hadn't done, and forgive that, and you can see the humanity in that, then you can extend forgiveness to others. And you don't even ever have to tell someone that they're forgiven. It's just making peace within yourself, and then like that healing really opens up the door, and it feels so great. So you know, and that's one piece of that makes co-parenting easier for me, because I have made the deliberate choice for forgiveness and open my heart for myself, not to let anybody else know that they're forgiven, but it's really just for me. So it's a selfish act in a great way.
No, I love that, because I feel like that's been the theme for a lot of my clients, where I'm coaching them through forgiveness of the self, because they also have to forgive someone else for something.
That's right.
And I think it's just been the theme where it's like, you have to understand that forgiveness is for you and not the other person.
Right.
And one thing that this article that I send clients, it says something related to forgiveness, and how one, it's not to justify the behavior of the person or to excuse it. It's also not to reconcile. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. And then forgiveness isn't forgetting either, you know? So, and that key word, it's the choice. You said it's a deliberate choice. That is what forgiveness is. And you have to be able to forgive yourself, and also, you know, your partner, or things that maybe you guys didn't do in the relationship, or whatever the case is, however you met, whatever you feel like you need to forgive even yourself for action wise, you have to go through that process too.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that was your deliberate choice. And that's what likely has made co-parenting under these circumstances, you know, a little bit less hurtful or less triggering.
Right. Absolutely.
I almost done.
Aris, leave me alone.
All right.
I'm sorry to rush you. I don't.
No, you're good. Any last words that you wanted to say related to this topic, or how people can find you, or any of the things?
No, yeah, I think You_on_love is a good space. So you_on_love, and you know that is the title comes from, like, you know, if you're on drugs, so to speak, you're high and all that stuff, like, but when you're on love, that's the biggest high you can have, right? And so that's like You_on_love, that's where that comes from.
Love that.
And loving yourself, of course, not being in love, but loving yourself, loving on yourself. Yeah, no, and I think, you know, you'll see my name eventually coming up. I'm writing 2 books right now. I have written So about the path of healing this very topic through co-parenting, specifically when the ex-partner is a little bit narcissistic, and what does that look like when you have a co-parenting relationship or situation, and overcoming that. I have, the proposal written for that and all that. So I just need to finish it because I was writing it at a time to help heal myself, but then also it was triggering. So I realized like this isn't healthy for me at the time. So, but now I'm in a much better place where I can, re-enter it in a healthy space and probably provide better insight without any like bitterness. And then another book I'm writing is about a girl's spiritual journey, and it's autobiographical, of course, with some fictional elements in it, and just what does it look like from a young girl to adulthood and her spiritual journey and the lessons that she gains.
I love that. I can't wait to read all the things, and make sure that whatever you do contribute to or write about or anything like that, you also share in the Healing Solution Space, the Facebook group. And I think that is it. Before we go, I did want to say I've been drinking some Upful Blends tea. I wanted to share this one with
That
y'all.
mug, that's adorable.
This one's called Queen's Love. So for anyone who is watching and they're looking for any teas, I do have an affiliate link with Upful Blends. This is my little tea man on my cup.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that.
He's just chilling in the cup there. So this one has, let me try to name the actual ingredients. It's Ternia diffusa, Cardo Santo, sarsaparilla, and yarrow. And it says that it can be used to drink and also as a bee steam for vaginal steaming. And it rids of mucus in the reproductive system, cleanses the blood, serves as an aphrodisiac, allows blood to flow to our reproductive system and organs, strengthens the uterus, serves as anti-tumor, anti-candida, anti-inflammatory, all the things here, anti-yeast, antibacterial, and it also helps to regulate the menstruation blood. So I really like this one.
Potion there.
Yeah. So Queen's Love, Upful Blends. Make sure you use my affiliate link. Get your.
What does it taste like?
Actually, it doesn't really have a taste. It's not like some teas, like I've had their blue vervain, it's a little bit stronger. This is light like a chamomile. Like it's not strong. So Upful Blends, they also have sage and Palo Santo, and then also some supplements too. So if anybody's interested in that. I realized last week when I was doing the live with Dewan, when she was on, I was sipping my tea the whole time, but I didn't talk about what I was drinking or anything. So I was like, oh, let me make sure I plug that in. And then make sure that y'all tune in next week. Marianne's gonna be on, and she's just gonna be talking about moon rituals, so I'm excited about that. Yesterday was a new moon, so I don't know if anybody does any moon rituals, but we're gonna be talking about moon rituals and also mandalas and how she incorporates mandalas into her healing. So make sure y'all tune in next Monday at 7:30. And thank you so much, Tanya. This was a pleasure. I love learning about your journey, and thank you for sharing. For anybody who's in this group, if you have a story that you want to share, you have a healing story, if you're listening to this, you want to come into this group and share it, please slide in my DMs, let me know. And that is all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in to the I'm Healing podcast, where we review all healing stories and solutions for the soul. If you like this episode, make sure that you let us know, leave a review, like, share, subscribe, all the things. And as always, happy healing.